The Bulls have come out swinging with their signings for the 2026 NBL1 East season. NBL-level talent, Sydney players returning from clubs around the East, North and Central, as well as a refreshed women's program under a new head coach and a new star point guard joining their youth talent. Let's take a look at how the NOS Bulls are shaping up for the 2026 season. Welcome to Waratah on VCR. Thank you for tuning in to this video on YouTube or listening on Spotify or purchasing this on VHS. This is Waratah on VCR, your unofficial home of New South Wales hoops covering NBL1 East, Youth League and Waratah League. Please show me some support by subscribing, liking and commenting so more people can find this content and we can grow the New South Wales basketball community. Okay, let's get these Bulls on parade. Made some of the big moves this off-season, but starting with a new coach in their women's program, 3-time Olympian, 5-time WNBL champion, and 1994 MVP in the WNBL, don't forget that, as well as an Australian Basketball Hall of Famer, Shelley Gorman, will be taking the reins of the Bulls. Of course, remember Shelley most recently for guiding the Comets through their 2023-2024 seasons, which was their first two seasons in NBL1 East, and Shelley did a great job establishing that NBL1 program over at the Comets. In those two seasons with the Comets as well, they made the finals both seasons. So last year, Shelley Gorman took the season off coaching, but is back now on the sidelines, and definitely has a challenge ahead with this Inner West Bulls women's program. It's really struggled in the NBL1 era, but last season there was signs of life. They only just fell short from the finals. They have announced a huge signing. They came out swinging. So Shelley Gorman's first signing was Taylah Levy. Now, this is a player that you might not be familiar with if you're a New South Wales fan, but in the Central, she has been huge down there. Let's just go through her resume real quickly. She's a point guard, of course, has NCAA Division 1 experience with Cleveland State. She then returned to South Australia and played 16 games for the Central Districts in NBL1 Central and averaged an astonishing 19 points, 4 rebounds and 5 assists, as well as just shy of 2 steals per game. And she did this all on 43% shooting. That was in the 2024 season. That was in the 2024 season of NBL1 Central, but she is another one of those dual sport athletes. Also has that AFLW experience. Had 6 appearances with the Adelaide Crows in 2023. I wonder if she played next to Jas Simmons. Anyway, we'll have to find that one out. As well as the 2024 season, and is currently a member of the GWS Giants and played 9 games in the 2025 AFLW season. So Levy is a super quick point guard who can really run an offense. She's one of those high tempo guards who really sets the pace, brings the energy, can get to the basket with her speed. But I notice she's a very willing passer. So hopefully if they can put the right talent around her, she can unlock Bulls' potential. But hey, if she needs to do the scoring as well, it looks like Levy is a player you can really trust to fill things up night in, night out. And I think it'll work really well. Shelley Gorman managed to get the best out of Shyla Hill back in the Comets days. And I think Levy's kind of that similar style point guard, so I would not be surprised to see Levy really going to that next level under the leadership of Shelley Gorman. So I think that's a great fit. Joining her in the backcourt was their second signing, was a player who I think is really underrated from way back in her Spiders days. It's Mizuki Wakamatsu, who debuted for the Bulls last season and averaged 12 points as well that season. Mizuki has a killer 3-point shot, a real rainbow arc. Like seriously, that thing hits the roof. She's a great 3-point shooter and can really space the floor, and has a pretty good height for a guard as well. So I think shoots over a lot of players, so can get that 3 up in a hurry. She can also handle the ball when needed and is a really handy rebounder for a guard, Mizuki Wakamatsu. So great combination. I think will balance out style-wise Levy really well. A kind of good off-ball player Wakamatsu is, but can still help out with the handling a bit if needed, and run the offense if there's a bit too much pressure on Levy. So that's a great combination, a great 1-2 punch, and keep an eye out for Wakamatsu. It'd be interesting to see what she does in a new system if she can go to the next level. We also know that Shelley Gorman loves to run a tight rotation and puts a lot of faith in her kind of top 5, 6, 7 players. So these two are definitely going to get the green light in the season. So let's have a look at their depth chart from what we know so far. And some players I'm just kind of guessing on and putting together from their youth league roster. So at the point guard position, Levy's definitely got the starting spot. Matsumoto, coming back for a third season with the Inner West Bulls, a really team-first, defensive, unselfish point guard. So she'll be a perfect backup for Taylah Levy. And I put a third player in the depth chart here, point guard who was the Youth League Division 2 Women's Rookie of the Year, Lena Kale from St. George, now joining the Bulls. Be interesting to see if she can crack that NBL1 East roster. Anyway, I've just put it in there nonetheless. Maybe she'll get a run. At the shooting guard position, we've got Wakamatsu, and joining the Inner West Bulls from the Hills Hornets is Sally Fairman, a dead-eye shooter. Oh my, wow. She can just fill things up. Has represented Australia as well. If you want to find out more about Sally, head over to Jacinta Govan's podcast, or Squin as we know her from East Got Game. She's put together a great podcast that's still relatively new, called Front Row Hustle. Go follow them. She had a great interview with Sally Fairman a couple months ago, which you're going to want to check out, plus plenty of other great guests. So huge shout out to Squin, that podcast again, Front Row Hustle. Anyway, back to the Inner West Bulls lineup. At small forward, I've put Isabella De Jesus. Maybe, just maybe, this Youth League star will step up in the starting lineup. Would love to see her just get free reign, because she was really impressive in Youth League and emerging in NBL1 last season. At power forward, they've confirmed the signing of Leilani Jacobs. She is back from last season. I think had some injury troubles last year, but I think a player who could really turn some heads this season for the Inner West Bulls. Also filling in that depth in that forward position is Grace Blackwood, a Youth League standout, originally from the Blue Mountains. At centre now, a huge new signing, Jennifer Melee, who you may remember from her time at the Bankstown Bruins, as well as Maya Magic. Maya Perrick is back, baby, with the Inner West Bulls, and the Bulls fans are cheering. They love seeing the veteran back on the sidelines. So that's great depth there for the Inner West Bulls. Now, sorry, I kind of skipped over a few of those players, but if you want a full write-up of some of the talented players you can expect in that Youth League lineup for the Inner West Bulls, head over to Waratah on VCR on Instagram. So we did a write-up about players like Lena Kale, Leilani Jacobs, and Jennifer Miley. All Youth League talent, but I think will be part of the NBL1 squad this year. So head over to Waratah on VCR on Instagram and head down to our For the Record post about the Bulls Youth League men's and women's team, so you can read all about some of the players who are going to be emerging through that Bulls program and definitely stepping up to the NBL1 level. So let's move over to their men's side, and there's some huge names here, but starting off with their first signing that they announced, it was a no-brainer. It's Tony Tolovae, back for another season with the Inner West Bulls. You got to think will be the captain and the leader, the heart and soul of this side, because he's been such an important part of the Inner West Bulls, especially in the East era. Whether it's off the bench or starting, Tony is an instant buck with that silky left-hander. It's so beautiful. We did call him the Michael Beasley of the league because he kind of has a similar scoring style. If you don't know who Michael Beasley is, go look it up on YouTube, and don't be too sad about the career that never was. But Tony, on the other hand, has had a great career. Don't be fooled, though, by his silky game. He can really throw it down with force. We've seen some huge dunks from him over the years, and really just fits in so well with any team because of his versatile skill set. So he was the perfect first signing and really can fit in anywhere, bringing that veteran presence, and hopefully we'll see him get the green light this season. So with Tony locked in, the Bulls then went on and signed Malok Majak, which was massive, a huge signing really for the Inner West Bulls. Watched a great interview with Malok on Love of the Game alongside another one of his future teammates at the Bulls, who we'll get to in just a moment. But go check that out on Love of the Game. I think it's on their YouTube and Spotify. SJ does a great interview with Malok Majak and has done a great job as well covering the UBL all off-season. Majak played last season in NBL1 with the Rockhampton Rockets, averaged an extremely solid, a great really, 13 points, 8 rebounds a game, and a little over a steal as well. So definitely bringing that defensive presence down with him back to New South Wales. In his time up north, he also had experience playing for Mackay and for the Brisbane Capitals as well. as well as overseas with the Chennai Kings in India. That's very niche, but great experience. Last time he played in New South Wales was with the Hornsby Kooringa Spiders back in 2021, where he averaged an impressive 19 points and 8 rebounds. So a Sydney boy coming home, you love to see it, and I think will be a great fit, especially in the paint for the Inner West Bulls. So if maybe lacked a bit of depth or a bit of quality in those big positions. They've had a lot of versatile forwards, but not a lot of kind of hard-nosed centers. And Majak can kind of do both. He is very versatile, but especially defensively, you think he'll be holding down the paint for the Bulls all season long. So you've got that physical force, that rebounding, that defense, that ability to finish at the ring, locked in at your power forward, your center, and then they go and add a star point guard. Back with the Bulls, it's Jasper Rentoy, who we all remember played for the Bulls in 2022. But wow, it's great to see Jasper Rentoy back in Sydney. And he's going to be big for the Inner West Bulls on the court next season as well. He was also part of that interview on Love of the Game, so please, you must go check it out. Love of the Game at YouTube and Spotify. The interview with Rentoy and Majak was just so good by SJ, and the setup's been so professional. So go check it out right now. Just pause this video, go to listen to it. Of course, we remember last season, Jasper Rentoy, things didn't really work out in Albury. He was a kind of marquee signing down there on the border, but for whatever reason, things just didn't really pop off. Before that, though, he was playing for the Eastern Mavericks in NBL1 Central. He also has experience in the New Zealand NBL as well. And not that long ago was a development player on the Sydney Kings. So the Bulls have a great fit here at the point guard for Jasper Rentoy. You think he's going to get the green light this season, scoring-wise, but he's a very unselfish player. So with the keys to the offense, he'll really be able to unlock a lot of the talent on this Bulls side. We all know what Jasper Rentoy can do. I mean, just go check out his highlights. He's just your perfect point guard. Things kept getting better, though, for the Bulls this off-season with the announcement of the signing of swingman. A swingman, it's a term we don't really use too much anymore, but that's how the Bulls described it on their site, and I reckon it's pretty appropriate for this player. It is Louis Bleechmore coming back to Sydney. He left his hometown of Sydney back in 2017 to play in the US. I think spent a bit of time playing high school over there before going on to play NCAA Division 1. After college, he returned to Australia, but went to NBL1 Central, playing for the Norwood Flames, which is one of the top programs down there in Central. He averaged 12 points and 5 rebounds. And you got to think he's going to go to another level for the Inner West Bulls. I think they've signed him as a bit of a marquee player, definitely going to be a starter, but he's your prototypical small forward who can really do it all. For NBA fans, think more of kind of Michael Porter style small forward. I mean, the athleticism's wild, and I know he's got a big wingspan as well. Seen a few of his highlights, not just from NBL1, but also from UBL as well. Bleechmore's also a capable shooter, a long defender, and a real hard worker. He also has an interview on Love of the Game. Look, they're not sponsored by Love of the Game, but go check it out. It's a great interview as well. If you want to find out more about the Bulls' new signing, Louis Bleechmore, perfect fit. But wait, there's more. Kobe Shannon is also coming back to Sydney to play for the Inner West Bulls. This is crazy. Their lineup is looking so good. After 2 seasons in Newcastle, where he took a huge leap forward. Just last season, he was averaging like 12 points and had 8 games where he scored 15 or more points. Because Newcastle were a little disjointed last year. Not because of the lack of talent, but there was a lot of kind of positional musical chairs going on. But still, Kobe really managed to shine with his ultra-athletic, versatile game. He really does have a guard's skill set in a kind of forward's body, which makes him such a deadly player. In recent seasons, he's also added a consistent 3-point shot. We've seen that not just in UBL a couple of seasons ago, but on the NBL1 level as well. So he's really rounding his game out, and you can often forget how young Kobe Shannon is because his skill set is so elite. So the Bulls are looking really stacked for next season. So let's have a look at their lineups. Let's just go through it real quick. At point guard, we've got Jasper Rentoy, starting point guard. That's locked in. Dom Sabota as well. A player that I've got huge raps on, dominated Youth League last season, almost single-handedly lifted the Bulls to the Youth League Grand Final. So Dom Sabota coming off the bench as point guard, but again, wouldn't be surprised to see him inserted into the starting lineup alongside Rentoy, or spend big spells of the game with Rentoy and Sabota back out there. Sabota, I think, is a really capable scorer, so maybe alongside Rentoy that could work. But speaking of which, into the shooting guard position, you got to think Kobe Shannon's going to get the nod for the starting spot. As small forward, Louis Bleechmore, you got to think will be the starter, but with Tony Tolovae as the backup. Tony, put him in the starting lineup anytime. He'll give you 15 points. Go get it. Also, the Kodahis, I think, adding depth in that wing position as well. Both quality players still, I think, eligible for Youth League as well. So, going to be doing both. At your power forward position, Malok Majak, but would not be surprised to see him starting at centre as well. I know I do go a bit conventional with these positions, but roughly it's a good way of kind of figuring out who's fitting where. I've also got Kobene Brefo as backup power forward, but would not be surprised to see him starting at the 4-man and Majak at the 5, as well as the hyper-athletic Josh Morgan, who can really dunk don't know if I can swear on this, but really dunk the ball with authority. Was another one of those players that was a big part of that Youth League success last season. So all these players have been confirmed as re-signed, as well as centre Andrew Swanson, who's a player who I'd like to see get a lot more opportunity in the starting spot or off the bench. He's huge, Andrew Swanson, and I think surrounded by all this talent, things might just be unlocked for him this season. He's a huge paint presence, and the same could be said about Akul Dang, a kind of youth centre. Coming up through the ranks, another player with a lot of size. So there's a lot of different looks there for the Bulls, but I think finally they have a good amount of depth and talent at the bigs position, which I think they really struggled with, especially defensively last season. No update though on one of my favourite players, Nico Timonira. Hasn't been announced by the Inner West Bulls, so not too sure what's going on there. If anyone knows, just drop me a line. But Nico would be great for this lineup, but with Jasper Rentoy and Sabota already there, you got a feeling maybe they've got enough depth at the point guard position. Again, we don't really know, but we love Nico Timonira on this channel. He's definitely an A+ all-rounder point guard, the type of point guard any team would love to have. So hopefully we'll find out what happens to Nico soon. And also just looking at these lineups, you've got a feeling Mirko Jeric won't be coming back. Hopefully he'll be staying in the East though. We're big fans of Mirko from way back in his Townsville days. And another interesting one that hasn't been announced yet, but hopefully will be back with the Bulls, or at least in the East, is Raymond Chaos, who is just phenomenal for the Inner West Bulls over the last 2 seasons, but I'm not too sure what's going to be happening with him. I got a feeling he'll probably be at another club, or maybe not even in the league, or maybe goes to a different conference, if you know what I mean, but nothing yet on Raymond Chaos. One of our favourites though. We really want to see him back in the East. So the Inner West Bulls are looking so dangerous with so much talent locked in both on the women's and men's side. They've really come out of the gates and tried to make a statement with a lot of their signing news this offseason. And this Bulls men's team, if they can make it work, if they can get the chemistry right, get the buy-in, then they will be looking very dangerous. There's so much talent in that men's side. And but for the women's as well, got to say, it could be a good turnaround season for the Inner West Bulls. You see a lot of young talent starting to really knock on the door of that lineup. And I think under Shelley Gorman, it'll be interesting to see the new style and see how that all plays out. So the Bulls looking great so far, already for 2026.